So if you watch this channel, you're probably aware that Heather HATJ Trial and Randy Keith Bean both were found guilty of all the charges in their little money laundering case in Knoxville. And yesterday, or was it today, they posted Randy Bean's closing statement, and I wanted to read the highlights of it because it's really good insight into how their brains work, or rather, how they don't work. I have heard a lot of testimonies, and I have seen a lot of redundant evidence from the government proving the fact that I purchased CDs from USAA, and I do not dispute that fact. I even admit it to be true. This is a very bad start. It is not a good idea to accuse the government of providing too much evidence. So moving on. This case proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that these Federal Reserve accounts do indeed exist, and that these accounts do not belong to us, but not as individuals, as we were warned. The Federal Reserve website so proudly claims, but as original depositories, as admitted by Mr. O'Malley. The verbiage cannot be disputed, and the proof is in the fact that the government has not allowed these documents to be submitted as evidence or to be referenced by name. These documents cannot be disputed by any financial institution, blah, blah, blah. As we have seen proven in this case, by the one institution who did receive these documents and closed their case, admitting that they were legitimate. Look at this. O'Malley, for those who don't know, was the Federal Reserve guy that testified in the case. He said that only depository institutions have accounts at the Federal Reserve. Now ask yourself, are you a depository institution? No, you're not. You are not a bank. The only people who have accounts at the Federal Reserve are banks, the depository institutions. Randy has somehow interpreted that to mean that he's a depository, and therefore he has a Federal Reserve account. That's how crazy this has gotten. Moving on. Many of the witnesses, this is good, have testified to this jury that they have relied on word of mouth from other employees in their respective institutions that these Federal Reserve accounts do not exist, and failed to produce documentation from the Federal Reserve to back those testimonies. I mean, Randy is accusing the prosecution witnesses of believing that the Federal Reserve accounts do not exist because it was based on word of mouth. Now, this is a guy that believes that the Federal Reserve accounts exist because Heather and Harvey Dent on YouTube told him that they exist. He is relying on word of mouth. And it's unreliable word of mouth. The prosecution witnesses are relying on testimony from people who work at the Federal Reserve and the Federal Reserve itself. That is credible testimony. And look at this. Failed to produce documentation from the Federal Reserve showing that the Federal Reserve accounts do not exist. I mean, that is just such an incredible statement from Randy. I mean, he's asking for proof of a negative. Think of it this way. You can't provide documentation to show that something doesn't exist. For example, if you were to ask me to provide proof that I do not own, let's say, a Lamborghini, I do not have any documentation showing the things that I don't have. You only get documentation for things that you do have, for positive things. If I buy a donut at the store, I'm going to get a receipt. That is documentation that I own or owned a donut. I cannot get a document saying that I don't own something. What Randy is asking for doesn't exist. The only evidence... he is the one that needs to prove that these accounts exist, and he did not do that. Moving on, he cites the mortgage crisis, the LIBOR scandal, the bank bailout, blah, blah. You will allow the real bank robbers to get away once again with financial murder. Now this is the, but what about ism? This is, okay, the banks are bad, they're the real bad guys. Therefore, I can do whatever I want. You know, that's not how it works. If the bankers are doing bad things, you don't get to do bad things either. Their misconduct doesn't justify your misconduct. You know, but in their brain, you know, that's how they are justifying. Randy is justifying his criminality. Moving on, your choice will allow me my freedom, will sweep across this planet in a tsunami of compassion, and allow me to continue to prove that these accounts do indeed exist when the correct verbiage is used to prove it. Imagine a world without poverty or lack of any kind. Imagine a world of abundance. Now, this is a key thing, because in the way Randy and Heather are trying to spin it is that if everybody had access to millions of dollars, there would be no poverty, and there would be abundance, and everybody would have food, shelter, fancy cars, fancy vans, blah, blah. As anybody who has taken any type of economics course, be it in middle school, or high school, or college, if everybody had $1 million, money would be worthless. There would still be poverty. Just look at Zimbabwe, other countries where there is hyperinflation. What Randy is, okay, if everybody had money, it would not mean abundance. It would just mean that you would have stacks of paper. The corresponding resources that you want to buy with money, like, again, food, houses, that type of thing, luxuries, necessities, that would still, the supply of that would not increase simply because people have more money. I mean, what Randy and Heather are, it's such a almost like elementary school understanding of economics that it is shocking. I mean, look at the thing that Randy purchased with the money. He bought a luxury RV vehicle. But in order to build an RV, you have to have workers that are going to build the RV and mine the materials to build the RV. If everybody had millions of dollars, nobody would work in a factory to build RVs. If the TDAs were created, because they don't exist, if they were created and the government gave everybody millions of dollars, nobody would work in factories. Randy would have $1 million, but he wouldn't be able to buy an RV because nobody would be making it. Further on, Randy cites Creature from Jekyll Island, which maybe I'll get into later. It's like a conspiracy theory book. It shows where he's getting his ideas from. And he says that, quote, the Federal Reserve is not part of the federal government. This is, of course, not true. The Federal Reserve is part of the federal government. This was explained in the courtroom. But, of course, Randy is ignoring that because he ignores everything that doesn't work for his little theory of getting free money. Moving on, he also says, as proven by the fact that the institution has never been audited. This is more internet disinformation. The Federal Reserve is audited every year. But he obviously, he's never looked any of this stuff up. Now, this is a great fight. This is an incredible line here. I have chosen not to call witnesses or even to submit vast amounts of evidence proving my innocence. Instead, I have chosen to speak my truth from my heart. Imagine being in the jury and hearing this. He's saying that he has evidence that proves that he's innocent, but he chose not to submit it. And what is a jury supposed to do? Just believe that there's evidence that he's innocent? Imagine if this was a murder trial. What are you going to say? Yeah, I've got evidence that I didn't murder that guy, but I'm not going to show it to you. You just got to trust me. I mean, this is so idiotic. Now, look at this, and this is the final statement, which is incredible. It is important to see that in the scheme to further hide the truth, the real criminal chose to stop me, which included kidnapping me. But when he says kidnapping him, he's referring to his arrest. In my effort to get to USAA Bank headquarters in San Antonio, Texas, to resolve this matter and put to rest once for all the fraud that has robbed every single soul on this planet. Now, if that's true, if Randy really wanted to resolve the matter, well, it's not true. He's making no jury would believe this. Once he liquidated the CDs and he had millions of dollars in his bank account, he didn't try and resolve the situation and verify that the money actually came from the TDA, because obviously it didn't come from there. It came from liquidating the CDs before they were funded. But what did he do? He didn't contact USAA to resolve the matter. He spent the money, he moved it, he got Heather to lie and claim that she was his attorney to prevent the RV dealership from returning the money. These are not the actions of an innocent man. How does buying an RV prove that the accounts exist? If you really wanted to prove that the accounts exist, he can simply transfer the money to his account. He doesn't need to spend it to prove that the account exists. According to the reports from the trial, he spent the money as the very same day that he got it. He spent $500,000 the same day that he got it. If he knew that, if he really thought that the money was his, he wouldn't have spent it immediately. He would have kept it in his account and made it last. Oh, and this is incredible. The final nail in the coffin. Look at this. He tells them paper money does not have value. Okay, if paper money doesn't have value, why is he trying to get his hands on cash? You can't say money doesn't have value while simultaneously trying to get millions of dollars. Either it has value or it doesn't. Either you want it or you don't. As long as you can buy things with money, money does have value. It's such a nonsensical belief system. But look, read the comments on IUV about this closing statement. They're claiming that this is an incredible closing statement, a beautiful closing statement. This is an idiotic closing statement. It's the worst fucking logic you could possibly rely on. I mean, let's put it this way. There's nowhere else on the internet where you can find stupidity of this caliber. And, the first estimates for how long Randy and Heather will be in jail for were worked out earlier in the day. I don't know the specific numbers, but, we're so many years in jail. And these guys can't, they're risking so many years in jail, and they can't even bother to use their brain.